Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Atomic Salt Live Show. This is going to be the show where we're going to discuss everything in the tabletop hobby world. I am Wild Chevy, and as always, I'm joined by Casey. Casey, how are you this week?
Dude, I am riding so high on Halloween candy that I stole from my kids. It's amazing. I can see time.
Well, that's good. They must make you really productive then, right? Before the crash.
Actually, I have been really productive. And if we want to give it to Halloween candy, that's fine. But I got this guy built, or
Ooh,
mostly built.
is
You
that
can see he's all primed and looking
is that
sharp.
is that one of six?
One of two. Uh, the other one is in the mail. The cool thing about him is he is magnetized,
Ooh,
and it's a it's a pretty nice magnetic job, if I do say so myself.
well, you're the
Because
engineer, so
it's true. So what I did was I mounted a pair of magnets up inside the gun, which was more difficult than it sounds because this whole
looks like he froze up on us a little bit. And that's the thing about running the show live. Technical difficulties do happen. We'll give it a sec for him to come back and tell us all about magnetizing. For me tonight, I'm going to be hopefully finishing up these gulams. Got one last girl's hair to paint, so going with a reddish brown. See how that turns out. Oh, he dropped on us. All right, let's see if we can get him back. Right, while we're waiting for him to come back, let's see. For me this week, been a little bit busy. I assembled 10 Space Marine Terminators. Went with 5 of the regular box. Uh, these are the Assault Terminators. 5 of the regular box and 5 of the Blood Angels. There he is. There's Casey.
yeah, sorry about that.
You were just telling us about magnetizing.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say I actually used the heads of nails on the opposite on some of the opposite pieces, like these little guns here, so that I really don't have to care what the polarity is of the magnets or which way I face them. They just always fit and stick.
That's
So
a smart idea.
yeah, there was a lot of precision drilling. It doesn't work for larger pieces. You can only kind of get away with it with small pieces where there's not a lot of weight involved. But a lot of precision drilling, and I won't lie, I I used like my little pen vise for about 2 minutes, and then I got frustrated and I threw it away and I got out a power drill and just very very carefully used a cordless screw gun.
Nothing like using something that's that powerful to get your concentration for up to 10.
Like I said, kids Halloween candy, a couple of pixie sticks, and I was right there. So this is what I've been working on. I'm gonna start dry brushing the metal onto it because I found that just silver dry brushed over black actually looks kind of nice. It looks like a nice blackened steel.
So have you started painting on it, or?
Well, no, he's all primed, and so I'm going to do the dry brushing of all the metallic stuff first. Just that way, so I don't have to worry about going back and touching up anything else around it. So that's my plan, at least.
Cool. Did you get any gaming in this week?
No, I have to think about that. It's been a long week. But I didn't get any gaming in. What about yourself?
Let's see. Did I play? No, I did not play this week. I did assemble some Space Marine Assault Terminators. I got a 5-man pack of the regular ones and a 5-man pack of the Blood Angel ones. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna mix and match the two kits together. But the Blood Angel one, the torso and the back were all one piece, so I wasn't able to customize it as much as I wanted to.
Well, now that's a little crazy. Why would they do that?
Brand new kit. I mean, the old kit. Wow, you could really tell the difference in the times.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
The new kit's a real nice. A lot of extra bits. So you do get a little bit more for that extra $10.
But it sounds like you don't have as many customization options, though.
If you were going to do, because like the legs in the back, or the back part really doesn't have much of anything, and so it's just like the front chest piece is what you get to choose which set of legs it goes with.
You know, it almost feels like we're stepping back to the old school days with them. You know, all the monopose kits that they came out with.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that. But yeah, I got those assembled. Then I need to figure out, retool up my list again so I could play this week.
You mean so you can lose this week?
Yeah, that too.
Well, hopefully we should be able to get in a game on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we honor them. That's how we honor veterans here in America, is by playing war games.
And eating fatty foods.
Let's be honest. If they had a choice, it's what they would be doing.
That's what they do. I think one of those all you can eat places. It's free lunch for veterans, and every year that line is out the door around the building.
Now, not that they don't deserve it. We're not saying that. I mean, we both have a lot of military family and military in our background, and a severe call dropped again.
No, you're still there.
Okay, you just froze up, or you're holding your hands very, very still.
Probably. But yeah, we'll get our game on this coming week. And maybe you'll have a brand new box for us to play with.
Well, we'll definitely have the Riptide, and we'll see if maybe there will be a few more friends to play.
So, have you seen the new release announcement for GW?
Betrayal at Calth.
Now, I'm not very up to date on the Horse Heresy story. Can you fill us in on that before we talk about the game?
Sorry, Alan, you're totally broken up.
Okay, there you are. Tell us a little bit about Calth, the story before we talk about the game.
Okay, so I think you were just saying that you're not all that familiar with the Horus Heresy and what Calth is.
Correct.
Okay, so the War Master. The very early stages of it, position a lot of loyalist forces and put them in bad positions or put them in positions that would effectively put them at a disadvantage.
Looks like he dropped again. All right, while we're waiting for Casey to come back, I'm going to show you a little bit of the miniatures for Betrayal at Calth. There we have a very cool. This is the Dreadnought. Now we know we've seen Forge World with this frame. This is the one that comes out in plastic now, and it's got the classic plastic starter box Dreadnought loadout. We have melta gun and bolters. Very cool looking. Terminator Captain. Looks like a combi melta and chain fist. Looks like a Space Marine Captain with a old school plasma pistol and close combat mace. Very nice looking miniatures. So you can do a whole loadout. There he is.
I am deeply sorry.
No worries.
All
Okay.
right, so what were you talking about?
So, Horus.
So Horus being the War Master, prior prior to kicking off his whole rebellion, was able to use his position to move a lot of the loyalist legions out of position, or in disadvantage, so that they would have no advantages when all the shooting started. One of their biggest worries were the Ultramarines. That's simply because the Ultramarines are just such a huge legion. Even in Horus Heresy times, they were roughly double the size of any of the other legions. And this is for a number of reasons, which we won't really go into here. But there was quite a bit of bad blood between the Ultramarines and the Word Bearers and the World Eaters to a certain extent. So to effectively try and take the Ultramarines out of the war, before the war even started, Horus directed the Ultramarines and the Word Bearers to do a joint task force against what the Ultramarines were led to believe was a large orc force. And the Ultramarines thought that this was great because, they knew that there was some bad blood between them, and they figured that this would be a great way for them to just kind of settle their differences, get on better terms with each other.
Go sing Kumbaya at the campground.
Sing Kumbaya while killing orcs. In reality, this was actually just a large setup. And the rendezvous was a heavily fortified Ultramarine world called Calth. Calth was one of the primary worlds of, Ultra Sigmatum, or, the Ultramarines' kind of home base. And so the Ultramarines are just kind of standing around waiting for the Word Bearers and the World Eaters to show up. And so show up they did. But instead of them basically mustering and then going and fighting a big glorious battle, it's a giant ambush. And the Ultramarines are slaughtered. They do manage to mount some resistance, towards the end, and are able to start holding their own. But the problem is there's so few of them, and the Word Bearers were really into using warp powers and summoning all sorts of nasty Dinsians from the warp. And that has an effect of actually opening up a warp storm, the size of which no one has ever seen before. And the Ultramarine survivors actually have to leave, or the Ultramarines in orbit actually have to leave all of their brothers down on the ground, realizing that the warp storm is going to cut off the planet. And they realize that if they stay there for almost a decade and be, totally out of the war. And so, very quickly, and I mean, there's atomic weapons falling everywhere, and demons are running around. Ultramarines are trying to scramble and figure out some kind of makeshift defense, for something that they had never really planned on before. And that's kind of what happens at Calth. And eventually, because of all the radiation from all these atomic weapons, and they destroy the atmosphere of Calth, it turns into, everybody turns to all these subterranean tunnels that had been built long before, and it turns into this giant underground tunnel warfare between the two sides. So, and that's kind of the idea of Calth. So that's where we start.
Okay, so that's the background. So what is the new game we have here?
So the new game that we have, put up on Games Workshop, and my page is refusing to load because the night wouldn't be complete if it didn't. So Games Workshop has come out with a new specialty game called Betrayal at Calth, talking about the battle that we just discussed. Now, what the board game is, I don't know. I don't think became miniatures. You know, and let's be honest, that's kind of expensive. So, Betrayal at Calth. So, if you look at the front cover, this actually, it's interesting because this looks a lot like some of the Forge World style books that they've been doing for the Horus Heresy, for their campaigns. With kind of that black book with, like the big thick border around it. So right away, this feels like a really nice quality product. Like I said, I don't know what the game is. GW, I'm not sure they even know what the game is. I'm not sure anybody actually even really cares. Nonetheless, GW, because they immediately show you
All right, hopefully we can get him back again. Now, I know this is it. Talking to the local player groups, a lot of people are interested in this box. I know a lot of people are just really interested in play 30K or commonly, Horus Heresy 30K. And not a lot of people want to go out and buy Forge World. Just, resins are nice, but they're a little bit pricey to get, and they're a little fragile on the table. You don't really want to go out and spend a whole lot of money on resins and drop one and have it shatter. Because resin's not very forgiving when it comes to cleaning and repair. So yeah, a lot of people are interested. And it'd be interesting to see what the box is like. Doesn't look like there's much to do as far as the game is concerned. It's got some hex tiles there. But it's interesting. We've seen a lot of stuff coming out from Games Workshop. This year we had Age of Sigmar box. This is the next biggest release since then. This is the holiday box, looks like, too, because last year we had Space Hulk. Year before that we had Dreadfleet. So this might be just a one-off box, but it's going to have a lot of stuff that gets people interested in playing 30K and Horus Heresy, which pretty much means a lot of Space Marines and huge legions. I think you can have up to 30 Space Marines per unit. It's a lot of guys to field on a table. Not to mention, you can field Primarchs, which are hugely powerful units, HQ units. I have here, I've got Typhus for, we've got the Horus Heresy Typhus for the Death Guard. Looking forward to putting him together. So yeah, I can pick up this box and have my own Death Guard Legion, which would be pretty interesting. Not that I would pick up any of the Horus Heresy tanks. I don't like. So Karen, I think, is pretty awesome. It's a cool looking tank, but don't think I'd want to pick up the old school Nine Raiders. They're a little too chunky for me. There he is. The infamous Casey Roberts returns.
Let's try this. So yeah. So GW gives you, even shows you what it would look like if you painted up one side of your squad. You know, like if you just painted this up as really just a starter for your Legion. And I mean, really the question is, if you want to get into Horus Heresy, do you buy one of these or do you buy two?
Well, but you can have 30-man squads, right?
Correct. The base size for tactical squads in 30K is 10. And as you said, it goes up to 20. But what you got to remember is these guys are also tactical Marines. Are, you know, these are the bodies that you're going to use for everything, for like devastators or assault squads and that sort of thing. So those bodies are going to go fast.
Yeah.
And so really, you might be better off just buying two of these, because then you could do, you know, 2 to 3 squads, and that's going to give you, you know, let's say 3 minimum size squads, and that's still going to give you enough to do a couple of devastator squads and an assault squad, or vice versa.
Now, how much would you save compared to resin?
If you were to purchase this box in resin from Forge World, you would be looking at close to $500, or over $500. Excuse me. I think it's like $550. So, well, you might choke a little bit at $150. It's a good way to get into it. It's still cheaper than your other options.
Yeah, definitely at that comparison.
Yeah. So, I don't know. This is hard for me because I've wanted to get into. I read the Horus Heresy books, and I really like them. I think the books are great. And I've had a hard time picking which Legion I would want to paint and go for. I think Space Wolves, because the Space Wolves have some very cool depictions in the books, but at the same time, the Ultramarines are not the stuffy, stick in the mud kind of guys that they are in 40K.
Yes, because it's before the big book came out, right?
The Codex Astartes. Yeah, I mean they're still kind of stuffy, but that award goes to the Imperial Fists, who, don't get me wrong, those guys are still kind of hardcore. Because what you got to remember is well, this is the way that the Legion is, or the 40K chapter is. And just because the 40K chapter is that way doesn't mean the Legion is that way. Because most of these legions, or most of these chapters, came from the same legion. So, when we talk about the Imperial Fist Legion, you're not just talking about the Imperial Fists. You're also talking about the Black Templar and a few of the other. Yeah. So while they may overall be slightly dour, there are Yellow Marines who like to shoot. There's Yellow Marines who like to punch stuff in the face. There are hot-blooded Yellow Marines, more reserved Yellow Marines, that sort of thing. So the legions are a lot more diverse than their successor chapters are. So, and I mean I know a lot of people have complained about this box on the grounds that the Contemptor Dreadnought is pretty much monopose.
Well, and it's the loadout that they put all Dreadnoughts in their starter boxes.
Are you saying that a Power Fist isn't the most optimum weapon to put on your Dreadnought?
It's a multi-melta. It's a multi-melta. I've got, I think, 4 plastic dreads that are all multi-melta. And like, seriously, you couldn't just, you got all the weapons in the universe. And
the sprue actually comes with Reaper auto cannons and las cannons as well.
Well, that's good.
So, I mean, most people, like the Contemptor Dreadnought has kind of been like a mainstay of Forge World for a long time, just because it's such a nice kit.
I think it's because it's more humanist. It's very, a regular Dreadnought looks very odd. It's like, how does that thing supposed to walk and all that? Does it hobble along and all that? Then you see the Contemptor, you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty bad.
Now, I'm going to stand up. We're getting off topic here, but I'm going to stand up for the GW Boxy Dreadnought. I love that kit. I think it's cool. That was one of the things that sold me on 40K. Like, the Contemptor style actually does nothing for me. I think that the boxy look is a little more brutal. It looks like what it is, which is a walking sarcophagus with guns mounted on it. So, and now I understand that other people have different opinions, and that's fine. But I mean, they're allowed to be wrong.
Apostasy, I say.
I know. I'm just going to buck the trend here on this one and say I like 40K Dreadnoughts better than 30K Dreadnoughts. But I realize I'm in the minority there.
It's shiny syndrome. I mean, you stare at one Dreadnought all the time, then you get a new one, you're like, oh.
This is true. This is true. I will acknowledge that. It is nice to see something a little different looking. But I think what the beef that people have with this one is that you can't actually pose it versus the Forge World one. You can make him doing jumping jacks or something for all you care. So, but still, I mean, let's be honest. Posing can be a pain sometimes.
Yeah, think most people just want, unless you're a painter, or or you just have a lot of time on your hands. Most people just want to slap it together, get it on the table.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't want to just slap it together, get it on the table, you got to realize that, I mean, posing is an art form. I mean, if your pose isn't just right, it's going to look janky and weird. You're just going to look and be like, is he falling over backwards, or what's he doing?
He's drunk with power.
Yeah. So I really don't mind the mono pose, and it's not like, I mean, to a certain extent, 30K dreads are similar to their 40K counterparts, and you're not going to see a whole lot of them. I mean, if you're going to run one, you're just running one. Unless you love dreadnoughts, which in that case, you're just going to buy a regular dreadnought kit anyways.
Yeah, the Contemptor one I really like is not the Drado. I think it's where he's got the 2 autocannons, and if he just sits still, he can just shoot everything out of the sky.
Yep, that's the Dorito. The mighty Dorito. He's got so much firepower that even the Tau say cheese. But yeah, I mean, really, when you think about it, so if you're to buy 2 of these kits, you don't have much more to go to fill out your entire Legion. At that point, you're looking at maybe a vehicle. Like get yourself like a Spartan. Because Spartans are amazing. They're functionally unkillable. So you pick up a Spartan, maybe a flyer if you feel so inclined. A few of the upgrade kits, so you can turn a few of these guys into Devastators, a few of these guys into assault squads of whatever your Legion du jour is.
These plastics will work with forgeable resins, right?
They will, actually. You can actually hop on over to Forge World, and you can see that they have they've put together some nice bundles for you to go along with this. So if you want to make a Ultramarine specific task force, or the Emperor Children's, Iron Warriors, Imperial Fist, and pretty much everybody that they have released for, they've even they've come out with their Dark Angels and their Blood Angels as well. So you can get some unique torsos, some unique shoulder pads, and some unique helmets, all in the quantity that you need. Now, it's freaking expensive. I can't in good conscience recommend this path to anybody.
Especially with your wife next to him.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, for unique, let's be honest here. I mean, you want to get like a single upgrade pack of torsos, or maybe, a single upgrade pack of shoulder pads and helmets. Okay, I get that, but you don't need to trick out every single guy. It's just that's just bananas. That's crazy talk. If you've got that kind of money, you need to be investing that somewhere else or something. So, but yeah, you have GW support now for 30K. The question is really are we going to see this beyond the box set?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Will it last, or is it just going to be a one-off black box?
I think we've heard rumors that that this is really just kind of their way of blowing off the doors in the beginning, and that you're going to start seeing kits, like actual kits for 30K, and it'll kind of increase over time.
Well, I mean,
more of like just this
You got those tiles. Those tiles are going to have to be good for something, right?
Oh boy. Like I said, if maybe somebody will play the game out there, but I don't know who that's going to be. Because I know of absolutely no one who is actually interested in those tiles and the actual game. It's all about the plastics this time. So I don't know, Alan. If let's say here's a question for you. If you were going to choose a legion, what legion would you choose?
Death Guard.
Oh, interesting. A son of Mortarion. Why the Death Guard?
I like the Scythe Terminators.
That works.
I mean, before they went all Nurgle, they were pretty bad. They were pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no. Death Guard are crazy cool guys. They talk about on the Horus Heresy that to celebrate their victories, they would actually drink poisons. That it was kind of like this, right? Like, hey, we're Space Marines, we're so tough, our biology can handle it, and so they would, the more noxious the brew that somebody could handle, the more venerated they were. So, and Nathaniel Garrow, one of the what we think is a part of a prototype for the Grey Knights, was a Death Guard captain.
That's what you say, at least.
That's what I say.
That's what you keep telling me.
Well, we don't know the end of Garrow's story, but with kind of the job he's doing and the things he's going around saying and who he's hanging out with, it makes sense. I'm not saying that he has to be a Grey Knight, just that it makes a lot of sense. Basically he's turned into Malkador's, I won't say right-hand man, because Malkador doesn't really trust anybody, and he's got like schemes within schemes, but he's kind of Malkador's errand boy.
His page boy.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. And Garrow has started assembling people from, other legions with, mostly psychers or, have very specific talents. They've turned into this small little elite unit who kind of goes wherever they want, and when anybody questions them, they just, flash the sign of the sigillet, and everybody just lets them do what they want.
Let's see. I mean, I've already got a Horus Heresy box. I'm 1/32 of the way already there.
The Horus Heresy box of what?
It's got Typhon.
Oh, the Xiphon fighter?
Typhon.
Oh, okay. Hey, another Death Guard. Poor Typhon. Yeah, he is a cool character. It's actually kind of sad. Mortarion was essentially tricked by Horus into turning traitor.
I think that's what most of them were.
Oh, no. Most of the guys who went traitor did so quite knowingly. I think the only two who were arguably tricked was Mortarion and maybe Magnus. Yeah, definitely Magnus. Magnus and Mortarion. The rest of them pretty much knew what they were doing. Because let's see here. You might be able to make a case for the Alpha Legion.
I mean, it's just bad bosses. ruin everything else.
Well, and that is something to be said there, that most of these legions didn't turn 100%. You know, their Primarch didn't just like walk into the room and say, "Hey guys, we're going to go kill the Emperor," and they all just kind of nod and shrug and say, "Yeah, sure, all right." You know, there was quite a bit of interlegion cleansing that happened. You know, before they turned. You know, there was usually like a inside group that kind of knew what was happening and what was going on, that was kind of directing other people and leading them down the path, and they would pick out the troublemakers and deal with them. So
sent them all those Facebook images. Like this if you like Horus. Pass if you love the Emperor.
Yeah. So yeah, word bearers were pretty cheesed with the Emperor, and they wanted to believe in a god. And if the Emperor wasn't going to be their god, then, well, they would find another one, and find another god they did. White Scars stayed loyal. Night Lords, yeah, Night Lords didn't need a whole lot of convincing. They're one of those. They were one of the legions who went over without, who arguably would have gone their own way and done their own thing anyways. You know, Horus just kind of bent them to his needs. Death Guard were tricked, or Mortarion was tricked. World Eaters, they did not like the Emperor, so they just, well, again, this is one where kind of a unique story, but Angron was tricked / was angry anyways. Salamanders were loyal. Iron Hands were loyal. Dark Angels were split, and we'll call them neutral. Because yeah, it's curious as whether or not Lionel Johnson was like just avoiding the fight and was waiting to see which side was going to win before he really committed, or if he really was just that busy and taken up with other things. So
he was the accountant.
Yeah, you know, they talk about, of all of them, you know, outside of Horus, Lionel Johnson was probably the greatest strategic, or the greatest tactical mind that they had of the Primarchs. And so pretty quickly he saw what Horus, you know, once Horus went traitor, he saw what Horus had done, like where all the pieces were and what Horus's game plan was. And so the fact that he didn't just, you know, strike Horus where he was weakness is kind of questionable. Blood Angels were loyal. So Iron Warriors, they took some persuasion. Imperial Fist stayed loyal. Emperor's Children needed no persuasion. They let chaos corrupt them pretty well. Sons of Horus, again, their legion was actually fairly divided. And Alpha Legion, who are a bit of a special case. They joined Horus, but not because they liked him. So I can tell you why, but that would ruin several books that they have out. So yeah, that's kind of what I've got. It feels like a short show because I spent most of it trying to log back on. But is there anything else you'd like to talk about tonight, Alan?
Yeah, I got this in the mail. From the Kickstarter, Hexagon Mill. This is pre-painted MDF terrain from Hexagon Mill and Shark Manor Lasers. And the cool part about it, this is flat pack, so it comes apart. And
you said this was MDF, correct?
Yeah, it's MDF, double-sided, pre-painted, pretty scratch-resistant stuff. It just goes together real quick and easy. picked up some of the extra bits, like I've got parapets here, and then like an awning piece.
That is pretty slick. And so you said, how is that? Is it paint or is it like a printed material, like a laminate that they put over the top of it?
It's painted on there. I think he had talking to Dexter. They had to. It's a new process that they did. I think they cut it first, and then they used the printer. The stuff, it's hard. It's almost feels almost like a plastic. But yeah, it's printed on there. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I got a half table of terrain, and I got these boxes here. I've got the ones that join together. One big box, so it's enough to fill up a little bit of like half a table.
And size-wise, like when it's all broken down, how much room does it take?
Yeah. Let me pull this apart real quick. There it is.
Wow, yeah. So you could fit that in a shoebox.
Yeah, you can have a whole table's amount of terrain in a small size box, and it makes it great for storage. Makes it great for if you're. Cause I mean, a lot of us don't have dedicated tables, or you take your terrain to stores, and I've seen people, they've had just huge bins of terrain because Infinity takes a lot of terrain, but stuff's pretty great. It all just collapses down real quick and easy.
Yeah, I definitely like it. I think you should bring that on Wednesday. We'll give it a go.
Yeah, we'll do.
So, all right. Well, you got anything else for us?
So it's the final question, though. Are you going to pick up the Horus Heresy Betrayal box? As he breaks contact. All right. Well, I guess I'll leave that up to you guys who are watching. Put it down in the comments below. Let us know what you think. Are you going to pick up Betrayal at Calth? Are you interested in this Horus Heresy 30K? What do you think of the miniatures? Let's start a conversation in the comments below. We'll be checking it as you reply. All right. So that's it for the end of the show. Like this if you guys like the video. Share it with your friends. Let us know in the comments below what you think. We'll be back next week. That's it for the Atomic Salt Show. Casey's not here, so I'm not going to step on his lines. All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a good night.